Hello everyone, welcome back. So today we are going to make pizzas. So to start with pizzas, the first step will be to make the pizza dough. So we'll be needing 400 grams of all-purpose flour or maida, 100 grams of bread flour. In case you don't have bread flour, you can take 500 grams of maida. We'll be needing 2 teaspoons of salt, half teaspoon of sugar, and 1/4 teaspoon of yeast. Yes, so in this yeast required is very less, so we'll be needing only 1/4 teaspoon of yeast, and we'll be needing 1.5 cups of warm water. So to begin with, we need to activate the yeast. So we'll be taking half cup of warm water or lukewarm water, 1/4 teaspoon of sugar, and 1/4 teaspoon of yeast. So let us mix it. So we'll keep it aside till it gets foamy. So now the next step will be to mix the pizza dough. We'll take 400 grams of maida, 100 grams of bread flour, salt, sugar, and then mix well. Now we'll make a well in the center and add the yeast mixture along with the water. Now we need to mix the dough. I am using a dough scraper. You can do this with your hands or even, and mix the dough. The idea is just to mix the flour with the wet ingredients, and so that the dough doesn't remain dry. We have to hydrate the flour properly. Now using a bench scraper, I am just cutting the dough and mixing it. So just keep in mind that we have to cut the dough and mix it. You don't have to stretch it or knead it. The idea is just to hydrate the dough and make sure none of the dry flour is left. Now we can see that everything is incorporated. We will cut the dough in between, and we don't need to pull it apart. Please make sure you use a sharp edged bench scraper or a knife to cut the dough, and don't pull it apart, and just have a look whether all the flour is hydrated properly or not. Now you can see that the dough is not kneaded properly, it is just gathered together. Now we will apply oil on the sides of the container and let the dough proof overnight or for at least 12 to 14 hours till the dough doubles in size and large air bubbles are formed on the surface of the dough. We'll apply some oil on the dough as well so that the dough doesn't dry out. We'll cover it with a plastic wrap and keep it on the counter to proof overnight. Now you can see The dough has risen beautifully and it has almost more than doubled the size. We can even see large bubbles on the surface of the dough. This is what we are looking for. And it is a very soft dough. Now using a bench scraper, we'll be flipping the dough onto the counter. You can see the gluten formation is there. This is a very sticky dough. So we'll sprinkle some flour on the counter so that the dough doesn't stick. Now with very light hands we will press the dough, and we don't want to remove the air bubbles which have been formed in the process. We'll just press it slightly and form it into a square, and then we'll cut out 4 equal portions. Now this dough will make 4 pizzas of 10-inch size. So now I'm using a bench scraper and cutting it. You can even use a knife to cut the dough. Now I will measure the dough. It should be approximately 200 to 210 grams. Just make sure that you just cut the dough and you don't pull it apart. We just don't want to stretch the dough too much. So this is approximately 205 grams, so that is enough. So similarly we'll be weighing the other doughs. So now we have taken 4 pieces of the dough, and we can make 4 pizzas right away, or we can just wrap it into a plastic wrap and we can keep it in refrigerator, and it will stay good for 2 to 3 days. So it is very easy to make the dough and use it as and when you want to make a pizza. So now what we'll need to do is, with soft hands we'll just press it and we'll just take this like this. So what we are doing is, we are just creating a tension in the dough and we are making it into a ball. We'll just flip it off like this, flip it over, and with both your hands like this, so we have made it into a ball. Now what we'll do is, we can take a tray like this, flour it, take that dough and keep it like this, and then take a plastic wrap and cover it. So similarly we'll be doing it for other pieces. So now we have rolled all the 4 doughs like this. We are just covering it up and we can keep it aside till our oven preheats. So, or we can do one thing. We can take this plastic wrap, take one of the dough like this and wrap it like this. And now at this stage we can keep it in the refrigerator for 2 to 3 days and make pizzas whenever we want to make. But now, since I have to make it just now, so I'll be just keeping it like this and I'll be covering it with the plastic wrap so that it doesn't dry out like this, and I'll be waiting till my oven preheats. For a pizza to bake properly, we need a very hot oven, and for it to crisp properly, we need to simulate an oven which is there in bakeries. So what we do is, I have taken pizza stones. So pizza stone is like a pizza tile which you will get in market, or in case you don't get a pizza stone, what we can do is we can take a cast iron tawa like this, and we can just place it here instead of a pizza stone. So what we need to do is we will just preheat the oven to the highest possible temperature which is there in your oven. So in mine it goes till 270 degrees Celsius. So I will preheat to 270 degrees Celsius. You can preheat your oven to whatever temperature, to whatever maximum temperature your oven reaches. So next step will be to shape the pizza. So as we know, we have kept our dough in this tray. We have also started to preheat our oven to the maximum possible temperature in your oven. I have done it till 270 degrees Celsius. You can do it to whatever the highest temperature is there in your oven. So we can shape the pizza into directly a pizza peel like this, because so that we can slide it down into the cast iron pan or the pizza stones as I have shown you earlier. Or if you don't have this, you can take a pizza plate and then we can butter it. Then we can apply butter on all the sides properly. However, if you are using a pizza peel, we can take some semolina or suji and some flour. So this will ensure that your pizza doesn't stick to the pan at the time of sliding it into the oven. So now we'll take one of the balls of a pizza dough, and we will press it very slightly so that we don't deflate the air bubbles which have been formed. So I don't use a rolling pin while shaping the pizza dough. I do it using my hands. So what we can do is, so first of all we'll do it around the corners and try to, you can see there are bubbles also, so we need to keep those bubbles. You can hold it by one hand and just do it like this. So this will create some stretch due to gravity. You can even use your knuckles like this and do it so that it elongates. There is a very common problem if you think that your pizza dough is retracting, that is, it's coming back again and again, so you need to relax the gluten. What you need to do is just keep it at the counter and cover it with a plastic wrap so that it relaxes. So 5-10 minutes you can just leave it like that on the counter. You can see there are so many bubbles, so we need to really keep those. So we have rolled the dough. It is an approximate round, not a very good round. I am not very good at it. However, you can see there are few, if some kind of a holes pop up, it is very common. You can just pinch it like this. It's very common, so don't worry and do it. So now we need to transfer it to a pizza peel before we assemble it, otherwise it will stick to the Otherwise it will stick to the pan and you will not be able to slide it into the oven. You can even take a bigger ball of dough and make it into a large pizza. However, I am doing it for a 10-inch pizza. Now we have put it on the pizza peel and make sure that it is moving. It is very important that it should move, otherwise it will stick. So now I'll be applying some olive oil on the sides. It makes the pizza sides crisp. We apply pizza sauce. Just apply less. Just remember, in a pizza, the lesser we apply things or lesser we put the things, it is better. Otherwise the pizza doesn't get off the pan and it becomes a mess. Now we'll put some cheese. It's mozzarella cheese, which I have shredded, but this way it's easier to spread. Now it's your pizza, you can apply whatever toppings you want. I am putting some onions. Some red yellow bell peppers. So these are the toppings which are liked in my house. You can do whatever toppings. These are some black olives. Some jalapenos. Now I'll put some herbs, like this is oregano, some basil and some chili flakes. Now the oven is preheated and I am going to put this pizza in the pan. So just make sure that it is moving. So it is moving. I'll open the pan, pizza oven, and I will just slide this in the and just bake it. So this is the other way we can assemble the pizza in a pan, as I have shown you earlier. And now this pan can directly go into the oven and bake. So now the pizza is done and we'll take it out from the oven. So now the pizza is out of the oven. You can see it's looking so crisp and delicious. Now we'll cut the pizza and see. It's such a lovely pizza. Thank you.